anyway, does anybody want a how-to guide on, like, what to actually be doing right now? Because there's a whole lot going on right now, and none of it's great. And hell, I supposedly am supposed to be involved in my local Democratic Party, and I missed the meeting at 10 a.m. this morning because I've been passed out because I have only recently been able to re-intake solid food. Being sick is fantastic, but since we are at this stage where things are getting worse and worse and worse, and it feels like they're getting worse and worse every single day, and with the recent tariffs, it definitely seems like we're in a situation where life is about to get a lot more expensive, and fighting is going to be a lot less, well, doable for a lot of us. Let's talk about the things we can do. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and put up a piece of fan art from the fan art section. Or really, this was just sent to me directly from Pernia. Thank you very, very much, Pernia, for honestly an outfit that I wish I could afford for one of my VTuber models. Jesus Christ. As always, thank you for your fan art submissions. If you wish to have your fan art shown in a future video, the best way to do so is to drop it into the fan art section of the Discord. With that all said, let's go ahead and get to looking at, well, another interesting topic. So, this is from Rabbi Danya Rutenberg, and it is a step-by-step guide for things you can be doing in the now with how shit things are. So maybe this will help some of you if there are those of you who are in a position where you want to do stuff, you want to make sure that our current situation is a little less shitty for everybody around you, but you don't quite know what to do or how to get started. So let's go ahead and get right into things. Said many of us, I think, were inspired by Senator Cory Booker's phenomenal display of public protest on Monday night and Tuesday, breaking a record previously held by segregationists whose name can now be lost to history for the longest ever speech on the Senate floor. Cyber Bratty, thank you very much for the follow. I appreciate it. Here you go. Here is a link to follow along if you would like. And what was his closing charge? He quoted Egyptian pro-democracy activist Vail Ghanem, "The power of the people is greater than the people in power." And the great representative John Lewis, "Go out and make good trouble, necessary trouble, and redeem the soul of this nation." This here is a checklist. It includes a lot of things that you can do and some things that, well, you probably ought to do. What we mean will become clearer as you read. Let me get this a little bigger so you can read it as well. It is a part one of a two-part series in collaboration with Zach Touche and your usual cruise director, Rabbi Danya Rutenberg. More about Zach at the end of the piece. We've been friends through progressive Jewish community since the first George W. Bush administration. Remember when that seemed like the stupidest and evilest you could get? And when Zach suggested getting a list of our best practical, political, and spiritual ideas together in place, RDR jumped at it immediately. Then, of course, the list got very long, so we split it into 2 installments. Stay tuned for part 2, and of course, I will also cover part 2 when that happens. All right, let's go into the list. The checklist for the checklist. Huzzah. Okay, cool. I just don't know what to do shouldn't be something that you say these days. Here's the basics. Figure out what your lane is. Then figure out who is local to you and already doing some of that work. How can you be useful? How can you extend existing efforts? How can you show up and raise hell? Do something. You have time, or you have money, or you have talent, or you have connections, or you have a combination of these things. Find your people, find your project. So for me, personally, my thing is speaking. My thing, at the end of the day, is being able to communicate, at least in some form or fashion, to some amount of people. So I personally focus my efforts on communication, on making sure that people get information. If you are in proximity to the wheels of harm, Alien Deep Dish, thank you very much for the follow. If you are in proximity to the wheels of harm or in an org that is capitulating to this harm, what are the ways that you can throw sand in the gears and slow the machines down? And do you know what your red lines are and when they will have been crossed? Are you sure? I may refer you to this by lawyer Rachel Cohen, as she models calling out the firm Scotton Arp's cowardly capitulation upon realizing they had crossed hers. So at that point, there is another article here. I just put in a conditional notice and sent that notice firm-wide to anticipate an email link. I would rather just share it here myself. You can read this if you would like. But moving on to the next bit. If you are someone on the outside of those wheels of power, but you have privilege, how are you using it right now? What money, what time, what connections, what energy are you leveraging in this moment? And I'm going to keep saying this, level up your political education. And there is a link there as well. Book called Let This Radicalize You, The Future is Disabled, Why Civil Resistance Works, Surviving Autocracy, On Tyranny, Fighting Tyranny. I actually haven't read any of these, so I should probably read a couple of these as well. It's not just about marching in the streets, and there's so much lived and political experience we can learn from both historically and today. Book list is here. Remember, audiobooks count too, and you can get those from the library these days as well. And don't forget that Libby and Hoopla are great library apps that get you profound book access if you have a library card, and there are ways to get access to it if that is an issue. Community is everything. Figure out 2 to 5 local folks you know who are embedded in communities of which you are not a part of and invite them out to lunch or coffee or a walk or some such. Get to know them better. Deepen bonds of relationship and trust. And these people are awesome, not just because they're part of some other community, right? So it's a win-win. We need to be working in solidarity together, and those relationships are crucial. That whole loved wins business is built coffee date by coffee date, shared intimacy, and connection by connection. Relationships are the core unit of change making. So, as an example for this one, there's a friend of mine in the Magic the Gathering community, and he may be watching this video right now. Who knows? But when this friend told me at the card shop that we both go to that he was working for the Kamala Harris campaign, I immediately jumped on that and tried to get involved, tried to get footage out for that campaign, and tried to get some work done on my channel in regards to that campaign. I wish I could have done more, and I wish I could have done better with what I had, but I jumped on that immediately because I knew that there was somebody who had connections that I did not have, and there is some use to that community that I could be. At least, I hope. Then ideas for collaboration can percolate. Then, as things hit the wall, you know who to call to mobilize together. Then your community can have their community's backs and sides more easily, and vice versa. Then, as things get hard, you can have honest conversations with the basis of trust there. Those relationships are everything. Invest in them. Then pay attention to your doom scrolling. Human connection ratios as well. Remember that human connection can happen via texting, phone calls, and Zoom if need be. So if you are spending your time just letting an algorithm give you entertainment, decide whether that is more important to you than talking with actual human beings. Helping someone find work is with so much more than income. If you know a federal worker who lost their job, do what you can do to help them find a new one. And, of course, lower-level visa holders are more vulnerable these days, so if you know immigrants trying to keep their visas after losing work, finishing school, or fellowships, your connections and efforts truly matter. Do you have a friend over for dinner, even if, maybe especially if your home is messy? It doesn't have to be fancy. Make an omelet, spaghetti and meatballs, and bagged salad. Cook together. Get back into the habit of bringing people into your space casually. This I need to get better about. I do have some friends who've come over occasionally, but, like, I need to do it more. Invite a bunch of people over for a potluck. Make some simple rules, if needed, so that everyone can eat comfortably, like vegetarian and vegan only. Please don't invite me to those potlucks, personally. Or please label all dishes with gluten, or please no nuts. Jaya is very allergic. And make it clear from the initial invitation that you'll also charge a sliding scale donation, with all monies raised going to support those whose lives and safety are being targeted right now, or into a mutual aid fund, because before the meal is over, decide who's hosting next month, and perhaps if you're raising money for the same cause or a different one. Fennec says, but Suris, maybe I want you at my potluck. That's so cool. If it's only vegetarian dishes, you can have a potluck without me. Ask your older friends and relatives about times their or your family have survived oppressive governments. Go on a walk or grab tea or sit in a park with a friend and really listen to how they're doing. Okay, all that, fair, fine, understandable. Most of that is communicate with people, be around them, be near them, talk with them, establish human connections with actual people. Now, why does any of this matter? I can tell you why it matters. Right now, techno-autocrats function way better when you are atomized. They function infinitely stronger if you are atomized from your community. Sirs, would you go to a meat-only potluck? Also, no. I need my greens. I desperately need my greens. That is fiber. That is nutrients. That is vitamin C and B. I need that shit. That is iron. Give me that shit. Do not take me to a potluck that only has, like, meatballs and macaroni and cheese. Take me to one where somebody's got a bangin' salad, somebody's got a fantastic tofu spread, another person has vegetarian substitute dishes, and also your best friend's amazing, quote, world famous fried chicken wings are also there. Take me to one that is all-inclusive, not one that ignores the fact that my brain is not going to be happy. And of course, I am going to have somebody in my comment section angry at me about that, because I always have somebody in my comment section angry about that when I mention something like that. And I can't wait to read your comments while I am sitting on the toilet taking a shit in the morning. Granted, shits are less fun right now. Anyways, then invite a group of people over from your PTA, your synagogue, your Stitch and Bitch, your softball team, your Magic the Gathering group, to come sit in your living room, to drink tea, and decide how you're going to combine forces against evil right now. Here's an agenda for your first meeting. Let's take a look at this. Summary agenda. Opening 5, common ground. What brought you here today? Social action. Figuring out what's next. There's a whole link there you can use. Then, show up. There are so many ways. The Indivisible movement is doing fabulous work. You can find all manner of actions and meetings and canvassing, phone banking, and more through Mobilize. Hey, it's that thing that I keep on telling you all to use. That's so cool. That's so weird and quirky. That's so strange. You should definitely go to Mobilize. Definitely a useful website for mobilizing people together. Definitely helpful. Maybe use it. There's a reason that I've had this window open for weeks. Fight censorship in public spaces through Libraries for the People. Many other access points are in resources below. Again, there will be a link to this in the video itself. Then, play Fight Fascism RPG style. This is an excellent short guide for thinking about your role in the larger movement against tyranny. Recommend even if you're not an RPG person, or go to Choose Your Own Adventure at choosedemocracy.org. Please also check this very helpful list of things to do. I don't know if there's going to be many people who are going to be on board for that. A lot of people aren't really big fans of... I saw people get upset at this a little bit in Blue Sky, where one person said, hey, I don't want to sit down and play an RPG with you about protecting minority groups. I want to go out and do things to protect minority groups. Like, I can see this one maybe backfiring, so pick this one carefully. If you have congressional representation, celebrate democracy by calling them every day. 5 calls is one great tool. Hey, God, look at that. That's so weird. That's so cool and quirky. I have that one right here, too. Maybe you should use it. There are plenty of other ones as well. As Cheryl Ifil notes, we need to help open up a wedge between Trump and congressional Republicans. That can only happen if they feel pressure from their constituents. Wow, it's also that advice I've been giving. Threaten people in power with their jobs. If you are in a blue state or a Democratic district, you need to push your representatives to engage the battle relentlessly, to leave no power on the table, and to use all of the tools available to them to resist. And a reminder, Senator Booker acknowledged that it was your calls that got him out there. He said, I was challenged by my own constituents to do something different. I was challenged by my own constituents to do something. I was challenged by my own constituents to take risks. Then number 17, if you are a citizen and have privilege, consider joining a local signal group. We're clean on OPSEC. That helps protect people from ICE raids. Again, getting embedded in local community is the best way to get in the loop. And here's how you go about doing that if truly none exist in proximity to you. Here you go. Protect your neighbors from ICE. Here's how to start. A whole guide here, and you can look at it if you want. Again, all the links are in this post. Then, get into the streets and get some dopamine. This Shabbaterday is the big hands-off National Day of Action. Go protest Tesla, a hospital capitulating to transphobia, a lawmaker in need of some negative encouragement, or somewhere else worthwhile. Beats Candy Crush, plus you'll meet some folks who share your values. Win-win-win. Check here and here for actions. And we can just go boop and boop. The big list of protests. This is a one that I need to keep on hand as well. Let's go ahead and post that there. That feels helpful. Let's also go into my Discord server, where we can go political organization, and I can post this right here, the big list of protests, and I can pin it so that you can go check that shit out there. This is also a subtle nod to go check out the Discord. 50501, the People's Movement. There's some shit happening in... You know what? Let's see here. I don't know if I have the energy for this with how sick I've been, but let's go and see what is available this week. Saturday, April 5th. 50 protests, 50 states, 1 movement. We are organizing a nationwide protest demanding political and legislative reforms. Join us to uphold the Constitution, end executive overreach, and advocate for liberty and justice for all. Hands off the Atlanta bus ride. We have served an air-conditioned bus to take us from the Buford directly to Piedmont Park in Atlanta. Let's make our voices heard by participating in this event. This is another Saturday event. Wow. You could use the Hands Off Atlanta bus ride to get to the 50501 protest in Atlanta. Interesting. Okay. And this is about 55 minutes away from me. And, sidebar, Piedmont Park is a bangin' place. That place is fantastic. So, just a thought. Just a thought on things you could do and places you could be. Anywho, if you're part of a religious community, tell your clergy how you see the policy implications of living your religious values, which might embolden them, since they so often only hear from people who tell them that they're too political, or that they should try to stay neutral, as though the sacred texts themselves are. If you have expertise to share, be proactive in doing so. Anyway, be proactive in sharing that expertise. Check to make sure that you're not reinventing the wheel or jumping in where others are already working. But if you see gaps that you can fill or ways you can address a local need, speak up. Don't wait around to be asked. Show up and share what you have to offer. I'm going to put an addendum on this. If you are on the internet and you are in a space that people are already communicating this stuff in, then be part of the megaphone. Communicate all the same ideas, spin it to make it your own if you have to, but just explain to your audience how important this shit is to you. And in so doing, you will invariably be helping out more than you think. When you see the fascists being fought in the court, it's because someone good is litigating. Honor their work by making a contribution to the orgs in this case. For example, NAACP Legal Defense Fund, Public Citizen, State Democracy Defenders Action, Democracy Forward, Protect Democracy, and Lambda Legal. If you don't have cash on hand, talk them up and encourage others to chip in. You don't have to have money to contribute to these things. You can just be a person who megaphones them. Talk to your softball team, your PTA groups, the folks you see after prayer services, your regulars at the cafe, all of your regular connections about what you can do to make people's lives better now. Make these conversations part of your everyday chat. How do you like the sermon this week? Are you game to talk about how we can make people's lives better now, especially the people in danger today? Yes, be that person. Normalizing fascism and horror happens when we're afraid of ruffling feathers and causing social discomfort instead of reminding people of our obligations to one another and democracy. Every German who was afraid of causing discomfort made it easier for the Nazis in the 1930s and the 40s. Let me go ahead and... I thought that I had this here. Let me go ahead and grab this, and then we'll go back to where we are. Anyway, envision a better future. Here's your next bits. As much as it is possible, put your money in your local and or black-owned and indigenous-owned businesses. Invest where it matters. This is your, hey, buy local, don't buy from Walmart when you can help it type of shit. As mentioned in Life is a Sacred Text recently, mutual aid is a way for people in a community to support one another in ways that they need it. It's less about a one-way philanthropy, us versus them, and more about solidarity, relationship, and connection and reciprocity. This and this are two good starting places to find networks near you. You can also Google your location and the words mutual aid to see what's happening and how you can get involved. Here's another list of places to support. Again, these are all available right here in the doc. If you would like, you can go ahead and click through those. Support disabled and trans creators who are on the brink of losing crucial healthcare and other forms of access, as well as, of course, creators from the global majority. Subscribe to their newsletters, buy their work, kick it to their virtual tip jars, lobby for them to come to your community and paid speakers, and, of course, take them seriously as qualified job candidates, and don't forget to dance. And that is it for this half of the checklist. And, you know, all things considered, I'd say that it is a very, very, very comprehensive list of things to do. And the fact that there is going to be a follow-up on this is incredibly helpful. So if you have not already taken a look at the Good Trouble checklist yourself, I suggest you do so, because right now it probably matters a little more than, well, than it has in the last few tens of years, honestly. Things are gross out there, but the minute that we start letting despair take over is the minute that it actually wins. And I mentioned this on stream earlier, but we're in the video now, so things are a bit different. Despair is a completely useless emotion. It does nothing to motivate you. It only lets you be more controllable by your enemies. Instead of despairing, maybe you should be taking the time to look at things that make you hopeful. Do things that make you hopeful. And community is one of those things that can make everybody a little more hopeful. Alpha Mario X says, Monokuma loves hearing the sound of despair. Yeah, no. Fuck Monokuma. We don't need that right now. That said, this is where I would normally put in a call to action in a video, but I don't need to do that here because this whole thing is a call to action. So check the link in the description when this goes live, and go see if you can do some shit. That all said, let me know how you're feeling in the comment section below. Let me know what you are going to be doing to try to make things a little better for everybody around you. And as always, insert end of video tagline here. Hey, thanks for making it to the end of the video. I really could not do any of this without all of you. Those of you watching, and especially those of you who support me on Patreon. I wanted to go ahead and take a minute to thank all of you who do that, because with YouTube being what it is these days, I really cannot do this full time without the support from each and every one of you. Those people would be Red Joker, Purple Poundini, Jemshin, Britzkrieg, Jupe the Malignant, Michael, Ravalern, Mabbity Babbity, Astral Frontier, Tales of Atonement, Nixie Chan, Kiri Artemis, Victorian Alchemist, I'm not saying the last part of that, and you know that, Arcton Arclacier, Kiratorian, Dren Hadamata, Jordan M, John L, Lord Bleck, Smiling Game Master, and Fireshard. Thank you so very much. But since you're here, why not go ahead and try watching another one? There should be one that's on the screen right now. And if you are a patron of mine, I wanted to go ahead and thank you again for all of your support. There is still a video you could press though, if you'd like. I would appreciate it just a little bit.